everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Welcome to a very special episode of the pod.
I'm here. Sorry.
You're listening to Thanks We Hate It. Hannah's here. I'm Mickey Atkins.
I'm Hannah Lehman.
And we're doing the episode in person
I'm
this
here
week.
in the flesh.
Thanks for coming to
Here
visit
I am.
me.
I'm in Tucson. When did I get here? Thursday. I've been here for 2 nights. I'm staying one more night.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been so fun.
How are you feeling about Tucson?
Well, how about you tell me how I'm feeling about Tucson? Because I've been very, very vocal about my delight of the cactus.
Yes.
The cacti.
So far, highlights include Hannah taking a picture with a very large saguaro cactus.
We don't have those in Washington.
Which is fair. And I understand the fascination, I do, but it is really funny to me because, like, you were saying before that, like, it's just the thing where you become, like, blind to something.
Right.
Like, I'm sure if I visited you in Seattle,
You'd be like,
I would
the mountain.
Well, yeah, and, like, how green everything is. Because you were talking about, you keep calling Arizona yellow?
Yes. It's so yellow to me. It's so red and yellow here.
Yeah, that's not a descriptor that I would have immediately jumped to. But like now that you say it, I'm like, actually, yeah, I guess that is kind of accurate.
Because when you drive around here, everything that's dirt here is grass where I'm at.
Yes.
So
or
it's
rocks.
just, and there's just lots and lots of foliage.
Yeah.
Like even in the city, like even in, I mean, obviously not like downtown city.
Sure. Yeah.
But like even when you're in the neighborhoods in the city, there's just green trees. Like it's just green and you're yellow. I don't know
so
how
funny.
else to describe it.
Well, the
it's
thing
like
that's
the Simpsons filter down here.
Well, the thing that's funny about it too is that people who have like big lawns full of grass or like a lot of like very obvious like plants that obviously need a lot of water.
Yeah.
It's like very much a side-eye thing from people here because like if you're wasting the water to like keep your lawn alive, then like it's sort of a judgment thing, you know? Like people give you like weird side-eye. Yeah, because like that's not meant to be here, you know?
Yeah.
And so people do just kind of lean into like the desert landscaping thing of like cacti and like rocks. Like a lot of people have rocks in their front yard as opposed to grass. Yeah. And like in their backyards too, even, you know?
And I said, I feel like I'm in Breaking Bad. I've never been down like south before here. And this place, and it literally looks, I know that Breaking Bad is in New Mexico, but it looks very much the way the scenes in Breaking Bad do to me.
Funny to me.
But I haven't been here. But like the houses all look like the houses are all yellow too.
Yeah.
The houses
lots of beige.
Are out of.
Now do you understand why I hate beige so much?
Yes. Like
I don't want fucking beige.
Like the foliage down here is beige bitches. Yeah. What was the houses made out of that you talked about?
Stucco.
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 Yeah.
I literally didn't even know what that was until you told me this morning.
Which is hilarious to me.
All of our houses are made out of wood.
Yeah.
Where I'm from, we all paint our houses like.
So I'm interested in
colors.
that though, because obviously the Pacific Northwest generally is like pretty rainy. It's pretty wet there.
Yeah, it's surprisingly not the rainiest state.
Okay.
Which it just has that reputation for some reason.
Oh, okay.
I think because it's not like we get rainstorms very often. Mm-hmm. It's usually just like constant drizzle. Oh, it's like we'll go days of it just being like this. There's many different types of rain.
So it's not like heavy rain. It's just very light, constant rain.
It's like sometimes it's just a mist like in your face while you're walking.
That sounds like a nightmare.
Sometimes it's just like droop, droop, drip, just like some drips. Then there's like, I mean, there are rainstorms too, but it's like often more like consistent light rain than like heavy couple hours of rain. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because that's very different. Here we have like monsoon season where it's like biblical rain.
Yes.
Like it will flood all of the streets. Yeah. People get injured. Yeah. Like it's actually low-key kind of dangerous.
Like, what is this?
Yeah. Well, and then like we have washes and stuff where like it's in theory like a river, right? But it's just like this big like dirt ditch essentially that helps to like deal with the overflow. But like inevitably when there's like record breaking floods and stuff, somebody's like car will get stuck or like it's just such a thing. But it's like, because it rains really, really heavy for like an hour, 2 hours, and then it's done. There's no more rain. Then the sun comes back out. My favorite is when it rains heavily and the sun is still out here. So it's like hot, but it's raining still.
Yeah.
It's a really weird,
you're like being cooled down by
surreal
like the warm
experience.
rain. Yeah. very odd.
Yeah.
I think that's what people think of when they think of Washington. They think it's like that.
Yes.
Like it's like monsoons, like all the
downpour.
time that we're like, and it's really like very frequently. A lot of people if you're native to the Pacific Northwest, make fun of anybody who carries an umbrella.
Oh.
It's like a lot. It's a very judgy thing. Like if you're a native Seattleite, like if anybody's wearing an umbrella, using an umbrella for anything other than torrential downpours, like the only appropriate time for an umbrella, they're like very judgy. It's so like funny. we don't need that here. Like rain jackets fine, but not umbrellas. Is very silly. I use umbrellas. I still use umbrellas. I don't care. I'm like, I worked really hard on my hair. I don't want to get it wet. I'm like, so
that was what I was thinking when you were talking about the mist, because I have naturally curly hair, or like wavy hair, I guess, whatever. And I straighten it most of the time because it's just easier to maintain. But yes, when it's like just a little bit of moisture, then your hair just like
poof.
And it's not like cute poof. It's not like, you know, when you have like really curly hair that it like, it just activates my no.
Hermione hair.
Yeah. Yes, it's not cute. It's not a look.
Not at all.
So humidity is not my thing.
Yes. I'll have to put a picture. I'm sure I will already have put a picture on of me with the cactus though.
Yes.
Because I like even pointed out, I was like, Mickey, there's the cacti have like warts on them, like big bulges on them. And Mickey was like, what are you even talking about? I don't even know, like, what are you talking about? I was like, the warts, they got like big funny bulges on them when they're growing.
I've never even noticed. They're just like, I don't know, like that's just what cacti look like. Is it cactuses or cacti?
I think it's cacti. I believe it's cacti.
Okay.
But I'm not judging. I don't think that's common knowledge.
Fair enough.
So, okay, and I do want to be clear. In Washington, if you go to Eastern Washington, we have deserts. It is very much like cacti and like not as many cacti as here, and it's not as pretty of cactus as here. But we do have like desert. Like there's Eastern Washington, and that's a completely different state than Western Washington. That's where the Republicans live.
Oh yeah, well you know.
And then we live.
Everybody
on the
has
other
a few,
side.
I guess.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yes, it's not like I've never seen desert before. I've just never imagined like living in.
Yeah. It's different being immersed in it 24/7.
Yes.
Okay, wait. Actually, I have a question for you.
Okay, what's up?
Because Tucson does sort of have a reputation. Aaron and I talked about this before you came here. We were curious if you would like notice this or like talk about this at all. But so like generally, what's your impression of like the city and like the cleanliness?
Oh, I'm so distracted with the yellow. I don't even really notice. Everybody's been nice so far. I haven't noticed anywhere like cultural like
people are generally pretty nice.
Like people are nice. Where I was telling you, like in Seattle, we have the Seattle Freeze.
Yeah,
where it's like people are polite, but they aren't friendly.
Yeah.
They're polite.
That's an important
what
difference.
It is. They're polite, but they are not friendly.
Yeah.
They will answer your question, but they don't want to. That's
so sad.
They are very much like, if you talk to them for more than a second, they're like, why are you talking to me? And so
that sounds like a really hard city to make friends in.
It's we're notorious for that. Like it is very difficult for people moving there because it's hard to date there too because of that. So my family, my parents have been, from Wisconsin, from the Midwest. Everybody, like, you go to the grocery store, you're going out with a new best friend. There's always somebody in the grocery store. They're always willing to chit chat with you. Blah, 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 blah.
Duly noted.
And you could just talk to random people in the Midwest, and they will gladly talk to you for hours if you want.
So cute.
So I haven't noticed anything like that here, though.
Yeah.
I haven't been here that long.
It's not so much that, I don't
think.
think.
But you're like trying to ask, like, do I think the city's gross? Like, is it dirty?
Yeah.
I don't personally think it's like particularly dirty, but I have also spent a lot of time in Seattle where it's disgusting.
People call Tucson the dirty T. Like, people say that's a dirty city because it's just what?
Growing up, we did.
Yeah, actually, that's true because Aaron and I grew up in Phoenix and we were like very prejudicial about Tucson. When we first moved here, I was like very much not excited to move here. I was like, I fucking hate this city. Like, it's disgusting. Like, ew. Because it is sort of like old. Remember I was telling you on the way here that a lot of the houses are from like the 40s, 50s, 60s, that like their original construction. There's a lot of like historic buildings here. And so it is a little bit more like run down. I'd be curious to see what your impression of Phoenix is because Phoenix is very like big metro city, like very brand new, like pretty buildings.
I did drive through Phoenix with you.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
I did land at Phoenix Airport when we went to Vegas, and then we drove to Vegas from Phoenix. So I do, but I don't. But I don't think I was there enough to like. All I was excited about was how many.
To be fair, we drove through like the city for like 20 minutes, and then it was like straight desert.
And then we were like,
the rest of the time.
Exactly.
Yeah. So people call Tucson dirty a lot.
Interesting.
There are a lot of people talk shit about Tucson too, as being like the city where dreams go to die, and like it's this really sad, gross place.
That's judgy.
I know, but since we've lived here longer, I've come to appreciate the like. I don't know. It's like people call Tucson a big small town. Because it is kind of like small towny vibes, you know? But it's still like the convenience of living in a normal city, if that makes sense.
When the look you guys gave me yesterday when I was like, is this a city?
Because 500,000 people live here. It's not like we live in nowhere.
This is definitely the... you know how I said I don't live in the city? I live on the east side.
Yes. Okay, fair.
The city that I live in on the east side is very much... like this.
Okay,
in
like
terms
suburby.
in terms of how spread out everything is. I think of a city as Seattle when I go into like Seattle, and there's big tall buildings, there's people everywhere.
Okay, fair. I get that.
And like that's what I was more like the bustly like Pike Place.
It's not like a big
vibe.
City by any means.
I think that's what I was just kind of like, what do you mean it is a city technically, but
to me, like especially because I've lived out here my whole life, like Phoenix is a city, but it is kind of this way also where everything's very spread. But it's because we have a lot of space out here. So like people from the East Coast especially are like, why do you guys like? Why is everything so fucking far apart? And like, why is this city like not walkable at all?
Not walkable.
It's because we're obsessed with like cars and like everything's very far. We like really it's the space thing, you know?
Right.
But like, so I grew up in that environment, and so I'm like, of course this is a city. It's not like we live in like rural where like your neighbors have horses and like you know what I'm saying, like that
acres of
because that's
land.
what I picture when somebody's like, oh, I don't really live in the city, I live like out, you know, like out in the outskirts. It's like my house like is on 2 acres of property and like I drive a tractor most of the time. And I was like, Hannah, like we're not country bumpkin.
No, I know.
We do still live in a normal city.
It is a city.
But I get what you're saying.
It's just very much like the city I live in, where also everybody drives everywhere.
Yes.
But in Seattle, if you live in Seattle, you can walk.
You can walk places.
You can walk quite a few places. Like depending on where you live, of course, but like, or at least you could take a bus to a lot of places easily. And a lot of people do that because the parking is so bad. Unless you pay $40 for parking, you know, somewhere, like if you're going to a concert or something like that and you need to paid parking lot by a popular venue, it'll be probably that much. You can get other parking for $10 or $20, but like also and there is free parking sometimes, but it's always taken up. So it's
the only place that you really have to pay for parking here is in like the downtown area where there's like meters and stuff,
right?
But even then it's like $1. It's like 50 cents an hour or some shit, you know. It's like very like not expensive.
Right. So when you ask if Tucson's dirty, it does not seem dirty to me just because I think of dirty. Seattle's dirty.
Okay.
Seattle's pretty dang.
Yeah. To be fair, we haven't showed you the worst parts of the city, but I appreciate that though. I don't want people to think that Tucson is dirty because I don't think it is.
It does not feel any more dirty than the city I live in, east of Seattle.
I was just very curious about it.
It's fine. Yeah. It doesn't. I didn't like notice like, oh, this place is dirty. It wasn't like anything.
And
like
I'm sure
that.
even if you did notice, you're like too polite to say anything. But I wanted to ask.
Oh,
you
I would not be too polite to say anything. Oh, I would have told you guys. I would have been like, God, why is your city so gross?
That's so real though. I appreciate that
Seattle,
a lot. Actually.
Like I think, we have a very high. This is not homeless people's fault, but we have a high people without homes.
Yes,
in Seattle, like and it's just right. And it's not. I don't blame them for that.
No, of course.
But it just naturally with that comes a lot of trash.
When people don't have the opportunity to like dispose of their trash in the way that most of us do.
Yes, of course. Or just having to use the restroom on the street sometimes and, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah. Especially with how hostile cities are to unhoused people. Yeah. You know?
Exactly.
Like they don't have anywhere to go because we have all this hostile architecture and like bullshit, you know?
Right. There's no, poor.
Yeah, it's shitty.
It's stupid. Did you ever think about that? It makes me so mad that there is enough housing for everybody, but it's just empty because landlords won't.
Yes.
Whatever.
Yeah. Or people that like own multiple properties and then rent them out at like exorbitant rates. Like, just stop it.
It sucks.
Fucking knock it off.
That like
it makes me mad.
It makes me mad that there is housing there's enough roof
Yes.
for everybody to be under,
Yes.
but we literally won't let them.
Correct. Because of money.
You need to sleep under a
Yes.
tarp.
Yeah.
By a building where you are unsafe.
Yes.
Or in a tent where somebody will inevitably kick you out.
Yeah. My favorite is like the criminalization of unhoused people.
Yes.
As if it's like,
as if they're like real terrible and gross.
Well, and as if that's like a thing that they've elected to do.
I know.
Like, hello?
Or as if you couldn't end up homeless.
Correct.
Like everybody
yes.
has everybody.
Like the
possible.
moralization of it, as if it's like an immoral thing to do. Like,
right.
Hello?
Right.
What is that supposed to fucking mean?
No.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Anyway.
Anyways, do we want to get into what we're talking about?
Yeah, let's
this week?
do it.
Who's going first?
I have no idea because last week we did a Reddit.
Yeah, we did Am I the Asshole?
We did Am I the Asshole, so we kind of just like went for it.
Okay.
So which topic is more depressing? Because usually we like to do the more depressing one, get that one out of the way, and then do the fun one second.
Mine's not quite that depressing.
Do you feel not really that depressing either. It's just kind of like.
Do you want to rock, paper, scissors for who goes first?
Should we rock, paper, scissors? Because we can.
Yeah, why not?
In person?
Yeah, that sounds so fun. Okay, wait. Do you do rock, paper, scissors as like rock, paper, scissors, shoot? Or do you do rock paper, scissors?
I usually do rock, paper, scissors.
Okay, same.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Okay, good.
Ready?
Okay. Rock, paper, scissors. Are
we doing 2 out of 3? Do I just win?
No. No. You can go first.
I was going to say, what does winning mean? Does that mean I choose or does that mean I go first?
That means you go, well, I guess you choose.
Okay.
If you win. I mean, it seems
honestly,
like.
Yeah, I'll go first because I really like getting my shit out of the way and then I can just sit and listen to story time.
I was like, yeah. I guess it doesn't make sense to force you to go on one if you won. Like, if you win, you get to pick.
If you win, you're getting punished.
That's right. Exactly.
Okay. So the thing that I am talking about today are the hacks that took place in Vegas in early September. Did you hear about this? The MGM.
I have no idea about this.
Okay, so it's a whole thing. So the MGM was actually several large casino conglomerates in Vegas were the subject of hacking attacks. It actually happened on September 11th.
Like the machines?
Yes, like everything. So here's what happened.
Okay.
I have an article pulled up that I'll like use to look at details, but like the general gist is as follows. There's this hacking group. I think it's called AL5. It's ALPH and then like a Roman numeral 5. So I don't know if it's
ever
Alpha
heard of Anonymous.
L5. Yeah,
I've only
I don't know.
heard
There's
of
also
that.
like something about Spider something or other.
Okay.
Who knows? They have like a couple of different names, but this hacking group essentially hacked into MGM and Caesar Entertainment's like thing, right?
Do we need to explain like what those are for people that don't live in America?
Oh, like the
like
companies?
just like what MGM and like we all know what MGM is, but like
probably a good idea.
Just
actually.
like really briefly, it's like
so yeah, for those of you who don't know or who've never
Vegas.
been to Vegas, Vegas is this like the main attraction in Vegas is what's called the Strip. It's like this big long road with all the casinos and the hotels and all the things. I'm sure you've seen pictures and videos of it and stuff.
You gamble.
But yes,
that's all you do.
Most of those properties are owned by like 2 or 3 companies. So MGM owns like basically half of the Strip, and Caesars Entertainment owns like the fucking other half. Yeah. So the MGM Grand is like a really, really big hotel, but they also own like the Cosmopolitan Las Vegas, and like I think Caesars Entertainment owns the Flamingo and the Hard Rock Hotel.
Oh yeah.
Or like I don't know, they're all like divvied up in,
they
in a particular way.
monopolize those. Yeah.
Yes.
Most of the Strip.
So even if they do have like a different name, the reality is that most of the big hotels in Vegas that people stay at on the Strip are owned by one of those 2 companies with a few rare exceptions.
Okay, I didn't know that actually. So I'm glad you explained that. Yeah, I didn't actually know that when we went there too.
Yeah.
So that's really interesting. So they're making billions and billions and billions
correct.
And billions of dollars a year.
Yes, because the whole setup obviously is that you can stay in the hotel like a regular hotel, but all of the Vegas hotels have a casino floor on the bottom where there's like the slot machines and the Jack Black tables and like all the gambling stuff, and then they all usually have like their own signature restaurant with like whatever celebrity chef is posted up there. Usually a lot of them have like a concert venue where there's like the Blue Man Group or like Lady Gaga's residency, like all of that.
Or like the drag shows at their little theater.
Exactly. So every hotel has kind of its own thing that's like a makeup of shows, gambling, dining, and like concert venues and that kind of a thing, right?
Yeah.
But the thing,
and everybody smokes inside.
Yes. Which honestly, I know
FYI.
that this is maybe a red flag of mine. Personally, I find it weirdly comforting. The smell smell of cigarettes in Vegas. I hate the smell of cigarettes everywhere else, but there's something about being in Vegas, like the smell of it, that's like oddly soothing somehow. It's just like a very Vegas thing.
That is a very like you feel like more like you're in Vegas.
I think it's because I've Pavloved my brain into thinking that cigarette smoke means vacation. Because I don't really smell cigarettes anywhere else. You know what I'm saying? So anytime we go there, I'm like, oh, I'm on vacation.
I mean, I don't like the smell either, but it's the fact that I literally was getting secondhand smoke.
Yeah.
Because people are chain smoking, and you can't even walk through the casino without literally inhaling
It's
their
a lot.
smoke. It's just a lot.
It's very
like
severe.
the vague scent from far away would not like in bowling alleys, if there used to be smoking sections.
Yeah.
And when you were in the actual alley, it didn't like that. Did not too bad. It was not too bad. It was like literally like actually being forced to smoke myself is what it felt like.
Yeah. That's fair. Yeah, because you wore a mask for some of it too.
I wore
it was
a mask
starting to feel like too much.
I could not. Yes. It was probably that combined with also being in the desert and not used to the desert.
Yeah,
just like
that's true. It's very drying.
Where I'm very dry.
Yeah.
Yes. Anyway.
But yeah, so that's sort of the main setup. And the thing that's important to know about the whole situation is that 95 to 99% of the casinos function digitally, right? Like the sort of meme of like pulling a thing on a slot machine, that doesn't really happen anymore. It's all button pressing. They're all computers. Even the like there are like digital craps tables and like digital blackjack tables, like which are really fun. Yeah,
it's fun because then you don't have to go be with the
that's what I'm saying.
The
with
dealer.
The dealers. Tell me you have social anxiety without telling me.
Well, remember, I did want to do that, but then you were like, we might not want to because they're not there to teach you how to gamble.
Yes.
You have to know what you're doing. You can't just walk up to a table and be like, hey, can I just put $20? Like, you have to be a serious, I know how to play this game.
Especially because some people who do go to Vegas, right? Like, if you live in like, I don't know, another country. Yeah. And you've come to Vegas and you're like a very serious poker player.
Yeah.
And then like the drunk bachelorette party wanders up to the table.
Yeah.
And it's like mucking your shit up.
And then they're like, roulette.
Yes. People can get aggressive.
That would be
and
really
angry, especially when they're drunk or like, they get pissy really quickly.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. And so I just didn't want us to be on the receiving end.
I appreciate that. I'm glad because I would have been that
person. Which like you should be allowed, but also like,
the digital tables though were so fun because then we could play those games because we played craps a lot on those tables. Yeah. And then you also, if you don't know how to play, you can just kind of go for it.
Yeah, exactly. But even the in-person tables, right? The ones with like actual cards, all of that is still affected digitally because there's like little, like the
tickets
cashing
now.
out and the payout slips. All of that is handled digitally. All of the ATMs obviously are connected to the internet. Like the conglomerate of Vegas at large doesn't function if the computers don't work, right? So what happened on September 11th is that this hacking group hacked into MGM's like main computer stuff and Caesar Entertainment's main computer stuff. I'll explain in more detail how that happened.
Okay. Quick question.
Yes.
Do you does the fact that it happened on September 11th, was that on purpose?
I don't know. I haven't been able to find a straight answer about it.
Doing it just to be
they may have done it on purpose, but as far as I've been able to find, it doesn't seem like that was related.
It might have just been like the day they picked.
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically what happened is that these hacking groups posed as members of like the tech support company or like the part of the company, like tech support guys for these casinos, for these companies like MGM and Caesars Entertainment. They called the IT help desk saying, hey, my name's so-and-so, I work for blah, blah, blah. And they had collected enough information from fucking LinkedIn, Hannah. They impersonated somebody's LinkedIn profile and said, hi, my name's blah, blah, blah. I lost my password or my login information. And so the IT help desk walked them through collecting enough relevant information that they were able to bring.
Just gave it to them?
Yes. It's fascinating. This is my favorite part about this whole story because I think the reporting is that the phone call lasted no more than 15 minutes.
I'm sure.
It really was not a particularly difficult thing.
They're so good. Yes. Hackers are so good.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they collected enough relevant information from this phone call that they were able to bring the MGM conglomerate to its knees, basically. So they hacked into both of these companies and they told Caesars Entertainment and MGM both, here's the deal. We want X amount of money, like millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars from you, or like $40 million or something. We want this amount of money from you, or like bad things are going to happen to you.
Like they were like, we have control over this.
Yes.
We're going to do this.
Correct. If
to
you
your
don't
systems,
give us money.
If you don't give it to us.
And so Caesars Entertainment was like, take the money. Here you go.
Yeah.
Fucking goodbye.
Yeah.
And so the hackers left
like
Caesars
ransom.
Entertainment alone. Yes. However, MGM said, go fuck yourself. We will not be paying you.
So Caesars did it.
Yeah.
Caesars was like,
yes.
pay
Caesars
the ransom.
was like, that's fine.
Give them what they want.
Here you go.
To be fair, it's probably $10 to them.
Yes.
Like,
remember that detail because it will become relevant in a moment.
okay.
So
And
MGM told them to go fuck themselves, and they said, okay, bet. And they turned it all off. The slot machines had error messages for days. The ATM stopped working. Remember when I told you the casinos don't function without the internet?
Yes.
It all stopped working. Yeah. So, the important thing about this
my God.
is that they managed to like do, I don't know, like obviously I'm not a computer person. I don't know what exactly they managed to do to this company.
Fair.
But it got to the point that MGM actually made the decision to turn the rest of whatever had not been affected off on purpose to try to limit the amount of damage that was being done. Because also now what we're realizing is that the hacker group stole a lot of people's personal information.
I was going to say, yeah. What about
So
everybody's credit cards?
Yes.
And
MGM has said that as far as they're aware, nobody's actual payment information has been breached. However, it does sound like people's fucking social security numbers and their passport data has been harvested.
everything they would need to open a credit card account for them.
Yes. Yeah. So in my opinion, it's sort of irrelevant that people's actual payment information hasn't been taken because you can still ruin someone's credit score with their fucking social security
if you have
number.
Their social security, I'd rather somebody have my credit card than my social security number.
I can turn a credit card off.
I could easily, I know. I can easily, I'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
So MGM told this hacking group to go fuck themselves. They breached a bunch of information from MGM, and this went on for several days. I think it went on for like 4 days.
Okay.
The running tally at the time was that it was about $13 million that MGM was losing every day that this issue continued. So all said and done, MGM roughly lost about $100 million in this whole exchange. Yeah.
And did they end up paying them the ransom then at the end too?
They ended up figuring it out.
Stop?
Yeah, they ended up figuring it out and like, I don't know, pushing them out of whatever, hold they had on MGM's computer stuff.
How many people got fired from IT?
Oh, I'm sure a fucking bunch. I was reading an article about this whole situation though. And apparently this is a topic that's not commonly discussed at length in trainings for like, especially the IT help desk, like the phone people.
Right.
They're not really spending a lot of time teaching these people how to avoid like a phone call based hacking thing. Like obviously everybody gets training about like don't click strange links in your emails, like we've all had that training.
Right.
But specifically about like phone calls where people are trying to harvest information from you, like there's not really a lot of training about that. And so it's sort of like a weird, I'm sure now people are going to be getting a bunch of training about it, but it is kind of like a weird weakness, like a little chink in the armor there for these really big companies.
When I was an executive assistant, our IT department, we would hire professional hackers. We would hire them to look for our weak points.
Yes.
And
I've
they
heard
actually found some stuff really easily. They were like, I hacked into your account in less than 10 minutes because
so embarrassing.
It was like the two authentic, like our emails were automatically like we were logged into our emails. And then the factor identification, you were like, okay, send me it to my email. And then he like went straight to the email. He was like, done, you're hacked.
Oh my
God. We got audited, but they were like helping us, right? At least they weren't hacking us, but it was like an audit.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
And so it's like,
That's so interesting.
I just find it really interesting that this was a tiny company that I was at that did that. Like the MGM Grand.
Yeah.
Like, I wonder if they just have so much money that it's not worth it to them to work. But like,
that's the other thing actually that does make my blood boil.
Hilarious that they lost so much more money than if they had just paid the hackers.
Well, don't celebrate yet.
So many questions. I have so many questions.
Because the other thing about this story that makes my blood boil is that the MGM has obviously insurance around this issue.
Yes.
So they're recouping all of whatever they lost through the fucking insurance payout. It ended up being a wash, which kind of sucks.
Right.
So, but that said, if you stayed at any of the MGM properties, I think from like 2019 to present, your information might be compromised. I think.
Oh, is that us? Because we didn't stay at MGM. Well, actually, we probably did. We stayed at the Flamingo.
No, isn't the Flamingo owned by Caesars Entertainment?
Oh, are they? Okay,
I'm pretty
good.
sure it is.
But we still like went into MGM and like gambled in there.
Yes. Hold on, let me double check.
So that's good to know. Jeez. I have so many questions. I have so many questions you're not going to be able to answer. They're mostly rhetorical, but
okay, that's fair.
I just hacking groups blow my mind. I know. Groups like that, like the only like I said, the only one I've ever heard of is Anonymous, like those that
Anon
really
or
big
whatever,
whatever it's called. Where they do like it's so exciting to me that they're so secretive that nobody knows who they are, like where they are. Like to me, that's just like
fascinating.
Are these just people on Reddit that are hooking up together and then like going to big meetups and then like what are they doing? Or is it people all that are in this group but they're individually at their house? Do they all like have it like actual
do you have an office space to be a hacker?
Office space to be a hacker? And then my next question is, okay, you stole $40 million.
Sure. Yeah.
Now what? How do you spend $40 million without the government?
Yes. Like noticing
that you have millions of dollars that's stolen. I am very confused about
probably
that.
Like very sophisticated money laundering in a digital
sense.
But
I was gonna say they must like if they're able to hack into MGM, I'm sure they have a plan.
Yeah. For where that money's going.
After that. Because I'm sure, but like money laundering, are they like cleaning the money somehow by putting it into Bitcoin?
Yes.
Stuff,
actually,
I read, cleaning it, washing it.
Yeah, I think I read something about them demanding crypto, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So maybe that's part of it.
It's just like, oh man, I would love to interview somebody like in one of the hacking
like,
groups.
What the fuck is the deal here?
I just want to know like all the secrets without them. Like, I mean, if they want to be anonymous, they could, like, if they want to wear a hat, you know,
a little voice changer, those episodes of like Unsolved Mysteries.
Yes.
Also, I was wrong.
Okay, sorry.
It's the private data of customers who used MGM services before March of 2019, including contact information, gender, date of birth, driver's license numbers, a limited number of social security numbers, and passport numbers as well.
Okay. Before 2019?
Yes. So I don't know.
They only collected data before 2019.
I'm not sure. I don't know if it's the difference in how the data is stored. Like maybe MGM has a different holding tank for like data from like X amount of years past, and then the present data is stored somewhere else. But
so weird.
Yeah. So we're fine. But if you stayed in any of the MGM properties from 2019 or before that, that might be a concern.
That is so messed up.
I know.
That's so crazy.
Because the thing that sucks too is at the time I was sort of rooting for this because I was like, yeah, fuck big corporations, right? Like, fuck you, like, MGM. You suck. Like, you own all of the strip and like charge us exorbitant prices.
Because they own it all. Right.
Fuckos.
It's like the cable companies.
But then as it turns out, the hackers are also really bad people who are selling people's private data.
Too, is that they are also like, I mean, it's kind of like the vigilante justice thing where it's like, it sounds great in theory.
Yes.
But it's actually really,
fucked up.
We kind of all agree to follow rules of society, and that's how societies function.
Yes.
Is by, I mean, some people, there's always a small percentage of people that decide not to follow society's rules, but I have to tell myself that every time I see people cut, when you're getting in, when you're getting on the freeway and there's a light.
I already knew what you were going to say.
And then there's people that are not carpools, but they just zoom past the line anyway.
Yep.
I have to tell myself that every single time. Because I have to tell myself, I'm like, look, you are one of the people that's going to follow the rules of society so that society doesn't break down.
Dude, it's fine,
Just let them.
Let it go.
I know it's really annoying, but but it's also because of like, then I'm tempted to do it.
Yes.
But then I stop myself because I'm like, no, I'm going to be one of the people, one of the 90% that like keeps our society intact.
Also, I know for sure that if I was the one who did it, I would be the one who got pulled over.
I would be the one.
And I just am too much. I've cried every time I've gotten a ticket.
Oh no.
It hurts my feelings when I get a ticket, and so I'm not doing that. I will not. I have too much people pleaser trauma around rule breaking.
How many times have you been pulled over?
Twice. 3 times,
okay.
maybe?
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, every time for speeding. Actually, that's not true. I did get in a car accident once, and so that was, you get a ticket for that. Obviously, 'cause it was my fault. And then 2 speeding tickets, I think.
The first time I got pulled over, I was a teenager, and I was like coming home from my boyfriend's house at the time when I was like 19 or something, and I didn't cry, but I told him that I got in a fight with my boyfriend.
Yeah.
And he was really nice, and he was like, okay,
Aww.
I hope things work out with your boyfriend. Like, here's, you just get a warning.
Oh.
Spoiler alert, things did not work out with my boyfriend.
I was on my way to an interview,
they were
and I was
nice.
running late,
Oh,
and I was
that
crying.
would be
I was like
so
all dolled up in my like
stressful.
interview outfit, and I was like, I'm so sorry, I'm running late to an interview. And he was like,
Too bad.
license and registration. I was like,
Yeah.
okay.
The
Really mean.
second time I got pulled over, the cop was not very nice. I pulled over on the
Yeah.
wrong side of the road because it was still the middle of the night. It was a speed trap.
Yeah.
He was hiding in the dark, waiting for somebody to not stop, like for 3 seconds at a stop sign when there was literally nobody. It was like midnight or something. Yeah.
Nice.
So, and then I pulled over on the wrong side of the road because I panicked. Obviously, I tried really hard. I was like, 22 or something.
Yeah.
And so I go to the other side and I like had a skirt on and I was like trying to like be like, hi.
Oh my
I was
God,
trying to be like real cute and
She
be
pulled
like
the gams out.
Hi. I'm so sorry. It didn't work.
It didn't work.
It did not work. He was like, yeah, okay.
I just don't think I could ever actually talk my way out of a
collecting
ticket.
right now. No.
Yeah.
I didn't try to talk my way out of it. I was just hoping he'd notice that my skirt
and
was
he
short.
would show you some mercy.
Yes, exactly. He did not give a shit.
Yeah.
So,
That's funny.
yeah, it was any hoozles.
Yeah. So that's mostly my story. That's my
Bananas.
thanks. I hate it this week is hacking.
There's
and
no
also
winning
casinos.
in that scenario either.
No, there's really not.
There's
Everybody
no
sucks
winning in
here.
that scenario. Yeah, everybody sucks here. Exactly. If this was Reddit.
Yeah, exactly.
So, okay, I have a segue from that. You already know about this, but I'm going to tell people because you know what? I'm so embarrassed, but I feel like the message is more important than my embarrassment.
Okay, love.
So, and it goes with the hacking thing.
Okay, great.
I'm an idiot.
Oh.
I told you this. You already know.
Oh.
Yes.
I was like, why? That's so mean, Hannah.
No, it's okay. No, literally, I deserve it in this case. It's okay. No, seriously, it's okay.
Okay, whatever.
I am very look. I try to be very nice to myself.
It was not
but
the best
in
informed
this case,
decision.
it was not. This was not it.
Put it that way.
Okay, you guys, listen. The other day, literally. The morning of Thursday, I'm getting on a flight to Tucson that afternoon.
Yeah.
I get a text message. I'm an idiot. I know. From USPS telling that my package was wrong, there was a problem at the warehouse with my address. And so it's at the warehouse. So I need to go correct the address for it to get redelivered. Now, in my defense, I did have a package from a not normal place that I usually get a package from.
Yeah.
It was YouTuber merch from a YouTuber I follow. So and it had been weeks and weeks and weeks since I ordered it. So it was perfect timing for something weird to go wrong.
Okay.
But if I had just looked
for 2 seconds
for
longer.
2 more seconds, I would have
Hannah.
noticed this text message was from an iCloud account.
Oh,
and it had a link in it. And if I had just Googled the link, it literally, the first thing that came up was scam, scam.
No.
But the audacity of my brain to be you know what? You should go to that link and you should put in your address.
Oh.
And I did.
Oh, Hannah.
I know. Listen,
it
you guys
happens to
don't
the
have to
best
call
of
me an
us.
idiot because I've been calling myself an idiot because I am literally an advocate for don't click on links.
Yeah.
All the texts are junk. All that. I
Never
am
look at them.
very much usually on top of that stuff. And it just goes to show that it can happen to literally anybody. If you are in autopilot,
yes, I was
you're
gonna
not
say,
thinking.
especially if you're in a hurry or you're busy.
I was thinking, yes. And I was oh,
Yeah.
one more thing I have to take care of before I leave. I don't want it. I also, if it arrives while I'm here, I don't want it to go to the wrong place, get stolen. So I was okay, fine. So I put in
mode.
but it gets worse.
Oh no.
Because if I had just put in my address and realized, then I would have been
Sure.
okay, that sucks, but it's fine. It proceeds to ask me for credit card info. And I put in my fucking credit card info. And then there's an error message that goes, that credit card is not right. Try a different one or
That's so
put in the
fucked
right
up.
details. And I was it is right. So I did try again. And that's when I realized I was oh, fuck. I just fell for it. I just fell for it. They got me. They finally got me. Sure enough, I Googled the text and they were USPS is never going to send you a link like that.
Yeah.
And it was so tricky though, because okay. Again, also, they are so good, you guys. I just want people to realize that this is why I'm sharing this, because if even I can fall for this, like I am, and I've been taught all the things.
Yes, you're like
I am very
avid anti-scam person.
Yes,
yeah.
exactly. Avid anti-scam. Then this can literally happen to anybody, because the website that they give, the link, at the top it has the U.S. Postal Service icon, and if you click on the icon, they have it to go to the U.S. Postal Service website, and then they linked their Facebook, Instagram, and stuff at the bottom.
Yeah,
but it's not you. That is so tricky. Okay, I'm sorry, but it makes it look very, very legit. Yeah. And then also, so that's when I realized though, and then I canceled my credit card immediately.
Okay, good.
I did. It sucks. I'm getting a new credit card. Like, I canceled it before they could even do anything. And at least they didn't get anything. They didn't get my social or like,
that's true.
Anything like that. But so I should be fine, but I still feel like an idiot. And then the other tricky thing they did was they were like, oh, it's just 30 cents. They were like, we need your credit card to charge you 30 cents for the redelivery and stuff. Which again, if you think about it for more than a half a second, that makes no sense. But it makes it so that you're willing to do it.
Yeah.
Because it's not that
much money. Yeah.
Yes. And then I realized, so that, not only that, but then they're like, oh, error, put in a different card. So they're getting multiple cards off of people that fall for it.
Oh God.
And then.
That's so sad.
But my question is, why does that work because that was the error message was the reason I realized it was a scam. So why, I'm sure, like, I wonder what.
Well, I think because probably by that point, first of all, it's too late. They've already gotten at least one from you.
Yeah.
And the hope is that someone will be in a hurry or just like not notice and be like, oh, I must have just put it in wrong.
I'll do it later.
Or no, I'll like do it again. Or like, oh, fuck it, I'll just put in this other card. Like, you know.
But if your card keeps not working, if you keep getting the error message, you're going to call USPS and be like, hey.
You would think.
My package is there. And they're going to be like, no, it's not.
Well, yeah, by then it's too late though.
Yeah, but then but if you realize like I did, within a few minutes you call and cancel your card and they don't get it. They don't have my card now.
I guess they're probably just banking on people not calling or someone just being like,
being like, right. It just doesn't make any sense because that's the error message is what made me realize that like made me pause and be like, oh shit.
I mean, it's a good thing that you realized when you did.
That's I know. Nice. I would have been really annoyed.
Yeah. Can you imagine? While you're on vacation,
my way
surprise,
out to traveling, and it's the only credit card I have. Like I need a backup card. I know, Mom. I know. Okay, I'm working on it. I will get another one.
Listen. I'm very much that way though too. I only have one credit card, and the rest of it is just like debit cards, and
I just don't like them. Credit card.
I don't like them. I have ADHD. I have poor impulse control. I don't need to have a bunch of them. I know what my limits are, and that's one of them. I get
my points on my credit card. I love my credit card, but I should have a backup just anyway.
Exactly.
So all that to say, so speaking of scams, speaking of hacking, and now speaking of scams, I just want the PSA out there. And here's another PSA. So the other thing we're talking about today is something, again, in the anti-MLM community that I've been seeing a lot of. That's been really interesting that if you're not in the anti-MLM community, you probably haven't heard of this before. But there's a new scam out to be aware of on social media, and it's called Master Resell Rights.
Okay.
Yeah, it already sounds like a scam, right?
Does, yeah.
So it's like
sus.
So Master Resell Rights is a combination of a pyramid scheme, and like the online business gurus that tell you that if you buy their course, you're going to become a social media multimillionaire.
Oh, got it.
Like Graham Stephan, like those types.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of those? Where it's like,
I think so.
Okay, like I'll give you. Like Graham Stephan, for example, it's like those people that are like huge on YouTube and social media, and they say like, you can do it too. You just need to pay $79 for my online course, and you can learn how to become social media influencer, make the most out of affiliate marketing, make 6 figures a month doing this, and this.
I'm thinking of a very specific person.
Say it.
It's giving Daryl Eves.
Oh. Okay.
I'm not saying that he's a scammer, but I'm just saying like that kind of.
I don't think he sells a course though, to be fair.
No, he does.
He does?
Yes, he does, because no matter how many times I've blocked his fucking email address, he keeps fucking emailing me about it, and it makes me so fucking mad. Fuck those emails.
Well, that's what it is. Well, and then, but it very much, it reminds me of the MLM thing, because if you don't become a multimillionaire, they can say, well, that's because you didn't try hard enough.
Yes.
You didn't work hard enough.
I'm tracking
didn't work
now.
the program.
Very MLM adjacent with the like merit-based success.
But not but not recruitment based.
Yes, got it.
So master resale rights is similar to that, but it's got a pyramid scheme twist. So what master resale rights is, so a lot of MLM Huns are now pushing this along with their MLM. So red flag number 1.
Yeah.
So master resale rights, you buy this course. I believe it's $500.
Whoa.
For this course.
My God.
And the course.
Oh,
Listen, Mickey. The course is literally about how to sell the course.
Stop it. Stop. Oh my God.
I wish I was joking.
No, I know exactly what you're talking about. It's a course to sell courses.
To sell courses, yes.
I hate that
you
shit.
buy, so it's master resale rights because you're buying the rights to sell that course to other people. So people are going, well, I made $2,000 in my first week. All I had to do was sell the course 4 times to 4 people.
Yeah.
And then you get to sell it too.
It's starting to look like a pyramid.
Does it not? Just like
Yes.
perfect pyramid.
And this is the thing that's so funny about these because the reason that I laughed so hard too is because there is a fundie. Her name is Bethany Beal. She's one of the Girl Defined sisters.
Yeah.
Yes. She does this where she sells a course about how to sell courses.
Oh my God.
And she makes most of her money through like affiliate, like having all of her people who buy this course pay for this service that she then gets like a kickback from, like an affiliate link essentially.
Like an affiliate link. Yeah.
Yes. But the thing that's so funny about this is that when you sell it to the first batch of people, fine, right? Like the first 4 people, like it is still inherently circular and it is kind of like pyramid schemey. But the problem is that the more people that you sell a course to about how to sell courses means that the market is more and more and more and more saturated. So like
a pyramid
the
scheme.
2 first people, yes, exactly. The 2 first people that you sell it to might be like okay at it, but eventually you do reach a point where like there's no more money to be made.
There's nowhere to sell it to.
Yes, there's no one or nowhere to sell it.
So there is something special about master resale rights.
Oh no.
You can buy, so you get the rights to the course and then you can add your own stuff to it. So if you are a crocheter, for example, but I highly doubt anybody doing crochet is going to do this, that you can like teach somebody how to crochet or like teach somebody how to make a true crime YouTube channel.
Yes. Okay.
In that master resale course. And then you can sell it for whatever you want. So you could, but you get, okay, so here's the thing I don't understand. And I have been watching these videos on these anti-MLM people. Yeah. And I have been leaving comments hoping somebody will respond to my question. Because I'm like, my biggest question, you sell this and you get 100% of the profit.
Oh.
It's not an affiliate link.
Okay.
So who is making, I mean, I know that you're making the money, but who at the top is making the money?
How is this working?
If they're selling it for 100% and then the people down here are buying it from other people in the pyramid, they're not buying it from the original person. So
there's no like downline situation.
So if you're selling it if you get 100% of the profits, it's still a scam, but it's like, how is the original person who made this in the beginning
making more and more money?
Making money.
Interesting.
You know what I mean? Like, it's so confusing to me. Like,
I wonder if it's almost like those.
And I've been asking, nobody's answered my question. Sorry,
Have you ever seen those? People do this a lot on Facebook around the holidays. It's called like the Secret Sister gift exchange thing, or like I can't remember. Hold on, baby. What was that thing that Lubano did?
Oh, where like
is a Ponzi scheme.
$100.
Yeah, what was it called? I can't remember. There's this
How does it work?
There's this other scam that like essentially everybody.
I know I can't remember and I don't know what I'd Google.
There's this other scam that essentially everybody pays like $100, right? And both of these things are predicated upon this belief that if you pay in your share, then eventually it all comes back around to you. And so you'll make like twice or 3 times what you put in, right? Like I'll put in $100 to this thing, or like for the Secret Sister gift exchange thing, I'll buy a gift. And then whoever was above me, my upline essentially, gives me an address to send my gift to. And then my address gets put on the tree. And then so other people then buy me a gift and ship me things, except that again, it's the thing where at a certain point there's no new people.
Right.
And so the people at the bottom get fucked because they sent a gift, but they don't receive one. Or like you're the one who put in the $100 to pay off the 2 people before you, but you don't get your money because you can't get any more people to join. And so it's not
weird.
It's not necessarily that the person at the very top who like started the whole thing is making money off of these people so much as it is that like it's just a losing equation for the people at the bottom. So there's not like a direct upline like there is with most MLMs, but it is still a pyramid scheme in the sense that like somebody's going to get had here, and it's whoever is the last person to join. Essentially,
there's somebody's always losing money in this situation. But it is just like confusing because you'd think also that the people, like, say you joined pretty early, and you do make like thousands and thousands of dollars for a couple months, you eventually run out of people to sell a course to.
Correct.
Like,
that's the problem.
It's why it's inherently flawed, but it's just like, really? So that's I don't know. Anyway, it's a new thing going on though. Like, definitely watch out for it, and they will like be sneaky about it, but they just, it's always it's just, you guys, if something sounds too good to be true, it probably is.
Especially like the thing that really grinds my gears about these is that with like the cost of living continuing to rise and wages staying the same, like obviously it's getting more and more difficult for people to like live and exist, you know? And it is just like such a predatory thing of like, you can change your life. You can make thousands of dollars or millions of dollars with this one simple trick, you know? And like, it's just so predatory because the people who are most apt to fall for stuff like that are people who are like very much in need,
vulnerable
You know?
situations.
Yeah, it just feels fucked up.
I don't
like it.
The thought of going to somebody and being like, do you want to spend $500 on my course? And with your whole chest being like, it's fine. It's fine. I'm giving you a gift. Like, that's what a lot of people in MLMs tell themselves too. Is that it's like, we're blessing people with this opportunity. And they really, really tell themselves that a lot because they have to believe it.
Ridiculous.
Or because if they realize what they're doing and realizing that they're like engaging in predatory behaviors, then it's like then it's all over. It's
not quite as fun anymore.
And then it's just not quite as fun anymore. But it's just, I don't know.
It's just frustrating and it's sad. But it's so funny though, because this model of like a course to sell courses, I feel like this has leached its way into so many different niches, you know? Like this is very much a thing that exists in the like wellness, or like especially like the mental wellness, therapy, life coaching thing also. This is like an issue that it gets a lot of private practice therapists because, you know, the question is commonly like, how the fuck am I supposed to make money at this job paying for all of my overhead myself? And so there are very much people who sell these things about like, I'll sell you a course to sell a course as like a professional in whatever niche, you know? But like, I think that's just good advice. So like if it feels too good to be true, it probably is.
I felt like that a lot when I was like trying to monetize my YouTube channel back when I was a baby YouTuber, and like I was watching and I got lots of good advice from, you know, I talked about how much I love Nick Nimmin and stuff like that. But like so many of those YouTube like experts tell you to like monetize your knowledge. Like a lot of it is that like make a course and sell it, like make a course on your specific niche. Like if you are a English teacher on YouTube for people in Korea, then you should have an extra course to sell on the side, like monetize that. And you're like leaving so much money on the table if you don't. Or all the YouTube gurus have special books and special courses about making YouTube channels. And it's big. Like, I could make a course about how to make a dark, creepy YouTube channel. But there's nothing I could tell you that you couldn't learn on your own for free.
Or that you'll learn through experience by doing.
I don't need exactly. And it's just kind of like odd to me. I don't know. It's like, I could monetize all kinds of things. Like, I mean, we could join MLMs and do you know how much money we would make on MLMs because of our followings, you know?
And before the dominoes fell, we would still make a good amount of money, you know?
If we hadn't been trash talking MLMs so much, it might last longer.
That's
But
fair.
I think about that all the time where I'm just like, I mean, I know we'd get like, I mean, obviously rightfully get canceled.
We'd get roasted.
Immediately. Rightfully so, honestly. That's all I have to say about master resale rights. I have something else I can update you on in the internet world if you
I was going to say something and then I lost my
Please.
train of thought. So give me a
Because I
sec.
interrupted you.
No, you're fine. Is that this? I don't know if this happens to you. I'm sure it does, but I get outreach like semi-regularly, I guess, from people asking for like a mentor-mentee relationship or like advice about starting a channel or like, you know, do you have like a program that you can like teach me how to do what you're doing or whatever?
Like from subscribers.
Yeah, just like cold emails
just
from like
want-
random people.
They want advice.
Yeah,
get
or
those too.
asking like, you know, like I'll pay you to like help mentor me while I start my channel or whatever, and I always say no because like the thing I always tell people if I am, you know, remembering to respond to the emails is that like I don't really have like a formal way to teach you about this. Like there's not really any like evidence-based practice that I can point you to, you know? Like even if I did give you a step-by-step very specific and detailed instruction of everything that I did, I can't guarantee that the result will be the same for you because like that's just not how the internet works, you know? And like that's generally just not how business works. And like especially because a lot of marketing now is like digitally based, like just be very wary, I guess is what I'm saying, of people who say, I can promise you for sure that you will get this exact result by following my course because you can't guarantee that. That's not a thing.
And they will always come back and say it's your fault if it doesn't work.
They'll blame you.
They
when
will
really
blame
that's not
you.
fair.
I
because
promise you.
there are like details and like factors that we can't account for. And like, again, even if we started a new channel today and followed the exact same steps that we did for getting to where we are now, that new channel might not make it big or like be successful because it's just not that simple. It's just not that simple.
Like case in point, our podcast channel is doing very well in terms of podcasts in general. Like if we started, if nobody knew who we were and we just started a podcast outright, we'd maybe have 50 subscribers by now if we were lucky. Right? Like we had a foot off the ground because of that. But even then, we only have a couple thousand subscribers still. It's not like we just got hundreds of thousands. Like we still have to work really hard and do all this stuff. I can I have helped people in the past. If they ask me, I will gladly give them the advice that I have. Especially I've had some Patreons that are also trying to start channels and I'll gladly like give them
share
like some tips. But like I mean I can give people a tip, right? I can tell you if you want to start a YouTube channel, here's what you do. You start. You use your phone if that's what you have. The only thing I would advise is buy a lapel mic because those are really, really cheap. They're very cheap. I used a $20 lapel mic for my first several years on YouTube, and I had great audio connected right to your phone or right to your camera. So audio is the most important. That's rule number one. And the second rule is that unless you already have experience, you're going to suck at it. And just make videos. Just make your first wait and just let your first 50 videos suck ass.
I tell people that all the time.
Nobody's going to watch them. You're going to get 1 or 2 people that are devoted to you just for no reason whatsoever.
Because they're just so kind.
Just because they're so nice. But just let your first 50 to 100 videos suck ass.
You'll private them later anyways.
That was the biggest thing that I wish I had known was that like, oh my God, that's right. You don't just go into a baseball field and hit a home run.
Exactly.
Like you have to learn, like there's nobody in the world that becomes a master at something without
you have to be comfortable with being bad at it. And people ask me all the time, like, oh, early YouTube, like, you know, when your channel was first starting, like, you know, do you miss that ever? Or like, was that fun? Or like, wasn't that hard? And like, yes, of course it was hard. It was yelling into the void. Like nobody except for my mom and like the 3 people that I knew on Facebook were watching my videos. So it was soul crushing. Right? But
it was like soul crushing. Be comfortable with nobody watching you.
But like, first of all, there's a weird piece in that because you're like, okay, these videos probably suck. And like, thankfully nobody's really watching them while I'm getting my footing.
While you're trying to figure it out.
But second of all, like that's fine, you know? Like if you really care about something and you want to like share about it, you know, like recentering on like why you're making the content in the first place is more important in my opinion than like, you know, chasing after like purely vanity analytics, you know?
Well, you won't succeed anyway. You need to be passionate about what you don't just pick a niche because you think it's going to be the most profitable niche. Because if you're not passionate about it, you're going to get sick of it real quick.
Yeah.
Like,
but again,
you're
like,
very passionate about therapy.
Even like there are people who do follow that advice though, right? And like still might not ever have a YouTube channel that's successful. And like,
correct.
It's not because you're bad or you're not trying. It's not because you suck. It's just that it's hard.
It's just very hard.
And you're sort of at the mercy of an algorithm that's
and you
very
need that
difficult to
video.
understand.
You need that one video to take off.
Yep.
And that
you can't. It's never the one that you think it is either.
It's never the one. And it's always months after you made it.
You're like, that one now? Why? Yeah.
I do want to say, I do think anybody can be a YouTuber. I think people quit before they go viral a lot of the time.
That's fair.
Because like that's what kept me going was that like you never know. And that was exactly what happened. I made this stupid 10-minute video about the evil stick. And it literally ended up getting 1 million views.
Yeah, which is crazy.
But it had like 500, hundreds of thousands. And that's what blew my channel up. And I had no idea that was, and people often quit. Like you could be one video away from going viral and you quit. And then the other thing is that if you're just starting out, your thumbnails suck. Yeah. Whether you think they do or not, you probably
thumbnails are so hard.
You might think they're really nice. They're not. Trust me.
Thumbnails are hard.
They're bad. And just like keep doing it. Like just keep
trying.
Yes, if you really want to do it, like you will eventually.
Yeah.
Again, we can't like guarantee it, but like, but we're not having you pay us to tell you this.
Exactly.
Like that's the difference.
And I think that's an important distinction too between saying that like in theory anybody can, right? Yes. And saying that if you follow these very specific steps, you inevitably, absolutely, 100% will.
Right.
Like those are not the same.
Right.
You know? Like
exactly.
I think it's just an important distinction because one sounds an awful lot like snake oil. Yeah. In my opinion.
True. But we've talked about this before on the channel too. Is that the nice thing about YouTube is that it's not a pyramid scheme.
Yes.
And that there's room for everybody.
Yes.
And it doesn't. Yes. Even if your niche is saturated, the cool thing about YouTube is that I mean, like for example. I don't just watch Hannah Alonso. I'm so into anti-M content. Yes. I also watch CC Suarez. I watch Aaron Bees. I watch Julie Joe. I watch so many of them. And I watch hours a day. Like there's room for everybody because people watch multiple videos a day.
Yes.
If you're in
I like to remind people that one of my favorite channels on YouTube is a model train hobbyist who has hundreds of thousands of subscribers. And like, but if you're not into model trains, you would never know that this person exists, right? But like there every niche that you could possibly think of, there are people like that who have hundreds of thousands of subs and are like that's their livelihood. Exactly. You know? Yeah, there's very much room for everybody on the platform.
It's just and I love that about YouTube is that it's not a pyramid scheme.
I know. Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. I think that's a good bar.
It's a very exciting
to have.
part. So
yeah.
All
right. Do you have any more updates or anything else you want to share?
I think I just want to say what we're going to talk about next time because I just had an idea while we were talking, and obviously I'm not going to get into it right now because I also need to do more research on it.
Fair.
To like make sure I know what's going on. But I want to talk about Illuminati next time.
Okay.
Can we?
Sure.
I want to give I know that a lot of people probably know what's up, but I want to give some updates on the things that she's doing to one of the people involved in this whole situation just came out and came out with the fact that they are exes, not only ex-business partners, but they were dating. And he was 20, I think, and she was 29.
Oh no.
Yeah. So some really interesting.
Getting worse.
I think it would be an interesting topic if you don't think it's too I mean, it's pretty it's pretty black and white with, I think most people can agree that Illuminati is not a great, has not been living her, showing her best self.
The only reason that we tend to shy away from stuff like that is just because we do very much believe that there should be room on the platform for everybody. And
we don't want to shit on other creators.
You and I specifically are just a little touchy about shitting on fellow YouTubers creators for no reason. Yes. But people like Colleen,
but we did
people
we
like Illuminati who
times.
At this point it's really starting to be.
We're not nitpicking. No. I don't think we're we're not trying to cancel people or nitpick for stupid things.
Or over one thing. Yes. This is a pattern of behavior.
This is a pattern of behavior. And it's I think if they're at Colleen Ballinger status, I think it's okay to talk about.
Yeah, exactly.
And I would just like to, I still need to make sure, I need to go rewatch a bunch of the videos and stuff because there's just a lot that's happened.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's been, even though she lost 90% of her viewership's gone, she can barely hit 20,000 views a video and she has over 1 million subscribers. She's just lost everybody, but she's still on the platform, still making videos like nothing ever happened.
Yeah.
And a lot of people forgot about it in light of the Colleen Ballinger thing.
Yes.
And I would love to just like remind everybody that she is still trying to
what's happening over
profit
there.
off of everybody that
Oh,
she's been
God.
exploiting. So I just think that would be interesting. So look forward to 2 weeks from now.
I know very little about it, so maybe we'll do a deep
Oh,
dive
that
where
would
you
be
can
fun.
talk to me about it,
Yeah,
because
that would be fun.
am not very educated on the topic.
That would be a good time.
Okay, great.
So,
Perfect.
okay,
All
let's
right.
wrap her up.
I think that's it then.
I think that's it, friends.
Thanks for coming, everybody.
I'm cold. There's air conditioning everywhere.
Yeah. The air conditioning is always really cold here because it's hot outside.
Because it's hot outside.
It's October and it's like 90 degrees outside.
Not
But anyways,
anyway,
thanks for coming.
Thank you guys for
we
coming.
appreciate y'all. Don't forget to leave us 5-star reviews on whatever platform you're listening on if you like us.
if you like us.
And then you can like and subscribe and support the channel that way too.
Or leave us 1-star reviews. We can't tell you what to do.
That's true. Yeah, if you hate us, you can
If
tell us
just hate
that
us
too.
so much, just let us know.
We're
Just
adults.
say,
We
like,
can take it.
Hey, we fucking hate you.
Take the gloves off. You know?
We'll be like, okay, I don't know why you're wasting so many hours of your life listening to us in that case, but
yeah,
sure.
we
Thanks
just
for
told
letting
you
us
to,
know.
but
That's
yeah.
fine. Yeah.
No, I love that. Okay, great. Perfect.
Okay. Bye,
All right.
everybody.
Bye.
We will see you later.